From year to year, month to month, week to week, and day to day, people across the world are obsessed with a phenomenon that is professional wrestling. But why? 101 reasons to love professional wrestling. There are many components of professional wrestling that should be both understood and celebrated, in no particular order. Ladder matches. A ladder is a structure, a piece of equipment, that consists of horizontal steps placed in between two vertical supports. Its purpose is to reach an elevated area and is a standard tool for firemen, painters, and even swimmers looking to exit a pool. Then there is also the metaphor that is often used about our working careers, which is climbing up the ladder of success. While this is absolutely true in professional wrestling, it is not always just a metaphor. You literally have to climb the ladder of success. Then when you're up there, you have to retrieve a dangling championship belt. This is a ladder match. A championship belt, or a briefcase, or really any object is hung from the ceiling. Then the competitors of the match have one objective: get it down. And the only way to achieve this goal is to use a company-provided ladder. When clawing and climbing this ladder of success, anything goes. If you want to win this specialty match, you should be prepared for pain. There is already a ladder present and anything goes. It is easy to imagine the pending carnage. Of course, this means the wrestlers use the ladder as a weapon. You can slam someone on it, smash them between it, swing it in pursuit of knocking them down, or even leap off of it onto your opponent to add to the splendid spectacle that is a ladder match. The evolution of this match has led to some of the most creative spots and visuals wrestling has ever seen. The origins of the ladder match go back to the early 1970s. Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling would feature the first ever of its kind, when Dan Crowfoot and Tor Kamada were climbing for a wad of money. In 1987, the British-based World of Sport would showcase a Disco Challenge ladder match, where Kendo Nagasaki and Clive Myers would use a ladder to reach a gold disco record. The Canadian-based Stampede Wrestling would also have a ladder match in 1983 that saw Bret Hart take on Bad News Allen. Bret Hart would take this idea with him to the World Wrestling Federation, where he and Shawn Michaels would climb and fight for the Intercontinental title belt. The ladder match would reach new heights in 1994 when the bad guy, Razor Ramon, would defeat the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, at WrestleMania 10 in what many would consider one of the best matches of all time. This match not only brought the ladder match to the mainstream, but it set the bar very high. So high that not many one-on-one ladder matches today come close to its impact or enjoyment. These two would have a remarkable rematch a year later, but this time with Michaels winning. The Rock and Triple H tore it down at SummerSlam in 1998. And then who could forget the Hardys battling it out with Edge and Christian in '99 to reach for a bag of cash and Terry Reynolds' managerial rights. That tag team match would open the doors to what many fans are accustomed to today. With the inclusion of the Dudley Boys, the Hardys and Edge and Christian would unleash the TLC phenomenon. That's tables, ladders, and chairs. Since then, outside of 2013, there have been at least one ladder match a year in the WWE, with many years having more than one. The WWE still has ladder matches from time to time, but you can for sure count on the annual Money in the Bank match. A match that sees multiple competitors claw, climb, and crush each other in their pursuit towards reaching the Money in the Bank briefcase, a symbolic briefcase that grants the winner a title shot on demand. It's not just the WWE. When Dusty Rhodes would take on Tully Blanchard in a barbed wire ladder match, with a prize of $100,000 hanging from the ceiling. 10 years later, the likes of Eddie Guerrero and Sean Waltman would battle over the United States title. Goldberg and Scott Hall would reach for a taser. The Young Dragons and 3 Count would reach for a record contract, and many more. Extreme Championship Wrestling gave us Stairway to Hell ladder matches. Impact Wrestling would have their ladder matches with an Ultimate X twist. Ring of Honor would put out some great ladder wars, and the ladder match itself has already been part of All Elite Wrestling's early history. As with anything, times change and things evolve. The modern ladder match can have more and more competitors added, more and more ladders added to the war, more and more stipulations, and more creativity unveiled. But some traditions are just always going to be part of the match by design. Call it a cliche or a tired act, but the slow climb is never going away. This is when someone climbs slower than a deceased turtle up the ladder for suspenseful purposes. Rung by rung, the wrestler ascends towards the belt. The anticipation builds. The wrestler reaches, and then it's simple. They get knocked off, or they inevitably retrieve the prize and victory. Would this be silly to someone on the outside? Of course. But you just have to accept it as wrestling being wrestling, and there's nothing wrong with that. You might not always get a classic like Razor and Shawn, but a ladder match is a lot like the pizza of professional wrestling. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty awesome.